Tonight we are talking Blaze. So apologies for last or the week before with the teaser. I had not returned from Canada yet, um, which I took a lot of footage in Canada, and I had like a life-changing experience, like near death. So I I know. I thought I was gonna die. It was definitely one of like the hardest things I have done physically and mentally and emotionally. I had a full on like mental breakdown on the side of a Canadian Rocky Mountains in the middle of nowhere. Um, but I'm putting together some footage and some stuff that I did, and I'll share with you guys because I think it's definitely worth sharing with the world, having those breakthrough moments. And cannabis definitely helped me um, accomplish some insane things that I physically haven't pushed myself since I got hit by a car. So I thank you, Mary Jane, because without my pen, I would have been dying a lot or feeling a lot closer to death than I did. Um, so tonight we're gonna just like review. We're kicking off officially the Blaze 2026 season. So a few weeks ago, if you haven't watched that video, we chose the strain live, and Chuck Dynasty won the seeds, and he just texted me because I didn't send his seeds out. I went to the post office and they're actually sitting in my car. And I remember driving through the border of Canada. I don't know, allegedly. I don't know if this is illegal or not. And I was like, oh no, those seeds are in my glove box. They're like, do you have any marijuana? I'm like, no, no, nope, nothing. Do you have any weapons? I'm like, oh no, is there a knife in my backpack? Does that count as a weapon? I like get so flustered whenever I go across um the border. It's saying I'm getting a notification saying that your cat lady's recording has stopped due to
Yep.
media disconnect. Weird. I don't know if that's
Yeah, I don't
real or
know. I'll
not,
figure it out.
but
You keep talking.
okay. So Blaze 2026 official strains have been chosen. The sativa leaning variety is Sour Diesel, and the indica leaning variety is Guava Root GMO. Now, if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen or know what Blaze is, Blaze stands for Botanical Latitude and Zone Evaluation, and we are an outdoor growers grow along that are collecting data in a citizen science project to help enable outdoor growers to choose better genetics for their region according to their growing zone. So, as you guys have followed along with the evolution of Queen of the Sun Grown, this is really my main focus. I have kind of dropped off of Patreon for the most part, and I'm just focusing on Blaze and writing for Seedsman and Humboldt. So, if you want to catch some of my writing content, it's always every month I've got new articles up at humboldtseedcompany.com as well as Seedsman. And we are focusing our energy, harnessing this fire horse energy into Blaze 2026. Last year, we're going to go through some of the data that we collected tonight. And that is my wonderful right hand woman, Cat Lady, who does the behind the scenes computer work, data analysis. She's just been a wonderful partner. I could not do this without her. Um, and she's been reviewing some of the data, and I'm working on an article that will be published hopefully on Seedsman's website. Thank you, Seedsman, for sponsoring this in the next week or two. And so what we really need is participation, increased participation. So we need to figure out ways of giving like more prizes, because I have free stuff for people, and we talked about giving. We haven't even chosen winners out of the 27 people, so we should do that as well. Or the 25 people, whoever finished their survey. Not only, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Everyone buys the same seeds. Go buy them now. Use code Blaze, seedsman.com, Guava Root GMO, and Sour Diesel. Those are the two strains. Then you're going to get a notification to sign up for the Blaze portal. It is on my website. You want to pull that up and we can share screen and show them what the Blaze login is. And so last year we had 97 people buy the seeds and sign up to participate, but we had a huge drop off after that. So look, queenofthesungrown.com. There we go. Blaze, get your Blaze 2026 strains now. So there they are. Get the seeds. Use code Blaze so you can just right there. It's probably in the description. I'm sure Cat Lady put it in the description of this video. So just click on it, grab your seeds, and then sign up. And the first survey will go out. We have all of the dates outlined for the survey for this upcoming year, and it is outlined in the calendar if you are interested in getting a Blaze 2026 calendar. I know it's March already, but hey, that is the calendar, and it will have a QR code that will take you to the survey when it's due, when it's ready to go. So out of the 97 people who bought the seeds, how many people did we get? 20, what did you say?
Yeah. Sorry, I was copying the links in the chat just to make sure people could get stuff. So, let's see where to start. 97 people created logins. And this year I'm trying to change things up a little bit just in case there was confusion on the fact that you have to buy the seeds to be able to participate unless you participated last year. So right now I've got it focused in on get your strains, get your 2 strains, and then we will be sending out copy link. Especially if you hit this right here, I'm going to change the wording just a little bit, but this is where you're going to get your communication on Blaze 2026 is you put your email in there, you get your seeds with 10% off from Blaze, and then you will get an email very soon where you will be able to, and you could create a login now, but unless you are from last season, you won't say anything. So let me go ahead and create it here. I'm still logged in the back end, so I won't share my screen on that yet because you don't need to see WordPress. But if I move this out of the way and click my Blaze account, you should be able to see the general of what we did last year. Today is the 9th. If you're on here and you want free seeds, you can still see this. Apologies because I can hear my husband sneezing in the background. What's that, Alex?
All I see are the strains still on the share screen. Is that what you're trying to share?
No.
Okay. It says sour diesel, guava root GMO is what is showing up
Okay.
on from my perspective.
Instead.
There we go. All right. So these are the
Makes more
surveys.
sense.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
yeah, okay. So backing it up, if you're a member of Blaze last year, you still see this. You have until midnight tonight to hopefully get in your zip code in your state and your harvest survey if you haven't done it yet. Look at your
Yes, or
pictures.
flowering. Flowering is the most important survey of this program. We want to know when you go into flower across the country. That is what's going to help us define these growing zones. Please get those surveys in and you will get free seeds for next year. So if you're watching this and you're signing up for 2026, keep that in mind, finish your surveys, and you'll get free seeds in perpetuity for the continuation of cannabis science forever and ever and ever and always, as long as we do this. So last year, like we were saying, we had 97 people sign up, and so far, how many people have completed all of the surveys?
I believe last I checked, we're under 20. Or right
Under
around
20?
20. Right around
Okay.
20. I don't want to share people's personal information, so let me stop sharing screen really quick and I'll look.
All right,
Um,
stoners, come on, let's get it together. We need to have, for this information to do what we want it to do, we need more finishing participation. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to give people prizes. We did a photo contest and all the Blaze calendars featuring the photo contest, but we have all stuff that we can give away. Yucca root powder, grassroots fabric pots. Do you have any more free stuff from
yes,
the stash stuff or whatever, that box of goodies from the class? We
yes.
can put together some giveaways for people who finish, and some prizes, but let's get this going. Let's get excited and let's sell some seeds or buy some seeds, I mean, and freaking make some cannabis science. So,
We have 16 people who filled out the harvest survey, 26 people who filled out the um, flowering survey.
okay, cool. Flowering survey is that's going to help us out a lot. But if you haven't done the harvest survey, please get the harvest survey in. This is also just going to give us the information of when it finishes in your area so that we can have that information. Like for me, if I, the harvest survey isn't as important necessarily because like I could have waited if I had been able to. I wouldn't have harvested my plants as early as I did, but I had to because of weather, which is good to know. But like we have that information, so yeah. What other data points did you come up with? What else do you have to share with us?
One that I was starting to get curious about uh, is how much mold people had. It was a questionnaire survey. Let me try and get back to the right screen. Um,
Mold, yes, the bane of many people's existence. If you don't know and you have mold problems, I like to treat mold. This is, if you're a member of my Patreon, you've heard it a million times, but Custom Biologicals out of Florida sells a prebiotic probiotic blend. So it's got 5 different varieties of bacillus, and then the other one has 5 different varieties of trichoderma. So trichoderma is an incredibly aggressive fungus, and it can outcompete pathogenic fungi like botrytis, which is bud rot, or powdery mildew, PM. And then the uh, bacillus blends are bacteria that boost your plant's immune system and help it combat these pathogenic fungi. So, including septoria too for the East Coast people. I personally don't have to deal with septoria on the West Coast, but I know a lot of my Midwest and East Coasters have that. So, I am foliar spraying throughout flower. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but with a probiotic, these blends of beneficial microbes are ubiquitous, so they are everywhere all the time. So if you want to do a light spray in flower, I do this preventative IPM spray once a week, every other week. And then when you're in the vegetative phase, really making sure that you're spraying with sulfur, micronized sulfur, is also going to help prevent mold. So an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of gold in when it comes to pathogenic fungi. So how many people had mold in the surveys? And I wonder how many people sprayed their preventative IPM. That would be great. I could be like, booyah! I've been telling y'all for years.
I know I didn't.
I bet it
I
was a
mean,
kind of
it does feel like each year I have leveled up my habits because as a each year it's like you each year you can layer on another thing, and remembering to do it during cannabis seasonality, if you will, or plant seasonality, um if that makes sense. And this
yeah.
year I'm gonna work on that and feeding more.
I think because I came in it like as a commercial grower, that it was like this is just part of my standard operating procedure. So it was drilled into my head like working in cannabis, this is just what I did. So then I applied it in my when I just started growing just home grow. It was like, okay, well, I'm gonna continue this. But for the mold, surprisingly, there's been no mold. There's been no pests. I am in like this sweet little spot where I think it just gets too cold at night and it's pretty dry here. And of course, I have, my bacillus and my probiotics, and I'm constantly giving my plants um, teas, but I didn't really do very much spraying at all last year, and neither the year before. And so, um, but if you know your area and you know that you have mold, then just take that knowledge and go with it and just prevent it. How many people had mold? What are you seeing?
Everyone
Everyone.
who filled out the harvest survey.
Oh my gosh. Gosh
Everyone had,
dang.
okay.
Can we
One
talk about
person
like where they're
said,
from?
I'm working on it on a way so that we can hopefully next week more easily like just answer those questions. But if I looked really quick, let's see. And I take it back, there was one person who did not answer true for that one.
Yes, Mr.
Oh
Tate.
no.
This is a Glacier shirt, Montana shirt. I'm just looking at the chat right now. I love Glacier. If you guys haven't had a chance to go to Montana, it is amazing. Highly, highly recommend going to Glacier. Go to Flathead Lake. And if you're into biking, they have a sick bike park called Legacy Bike Park. It is amazing. You can camp there, and it's shuttle like a bus kind of a thing. And just ride. I think it's $50 for the day, unlimited riding. Highly recommend. Okay, let's see here. What else is in this? Make sure to get your surveys in. Yes. What survey, Mr. Tate also says. Matches my hat. Nice. Scott says I'm gonna have some this year on the East Coast. Is Lost Coast Plant Therapy a mold IPM? No. I mean, I don't use Lost Coast Plant Therapy because it's overpriced. But it's essentially a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of citric acid, water, and essential oils. So you can make it yourself. I will do Dr. Bronner's peppermint and a little bit of alcohol. You can throw some citric acid in there as well. I always have citric acid on hand for making gummies. And you can use it in a pinch for like pH um down. And so I mean, I'm cheap though. I don't like spending money on products that I can just like buy cheaper or make myself. But there are certain like plant therapies typically used for like soft-bodied insects because it coats them. They do say that it helps prevent mold, but and like PM is very easy to get rid of by spraying anything. Literally like water, just pHed water, because you just need to change the pH of the leaf surface for powdery mildew to be inhibited. Botrytis is a lot more of an aggressive mold fungi than PM, but I would use other things besides Lost Close, unless you just like want to spend money on it, and or if you already have it, go ahead and use it. Limonene is a terpene that is associated with mold prevention, and so citrus scented things that have that terpene in it can inhibit mold growth. That is why I had a commercial client in Oklahoma, and there's tons of mold in Oklahoma. And so we did like 400 clones of this strain called lemon meringue, and he didn't get any mold on it because those lemony flavors just are a lot more resistant to pests. Um, yeah, but ooh, you have a cabin at Flathead? Mr. Tate, let's hang out. What's up, man? I want to hang out at your cabin at Flathead Lake. The bike park's really close to Flathead Lake. Anyway, surveys, Blaze. Where are
Yeah.
we at?
One of the things that I was just able to see, at least the interestingly, the breakdown of states from last year, at least of what I have right now. What Alabama? Represent Alabama. Handful of California, one Florida, one Minnesota, one Nevada, four New York. No, two New York. Um, four from Ohio, three
Nice.
from Virginia, one from Pennsylvania, and one from Washington. And
Woohoo!
that's not including the people that were quick on the draw and saw my little issue on the form that I fixed before I got it in. So there are three more people, I think, unless they already got their info in there. But
Yeah.
so
Cool.
we definitely want to see a nice representation of across the country so that we can see the difference in the flowering, as Alex was saying earlier, just because even though I think we've said it before, Alex, we're about the same zone, our latitudes are drastically different.
Yeah. Yep. And so the survey asks for the zip code, and that was because our hardiness zone is pulled from our zip code data. So if you are a regular veggie gardener, you know that your vegetable seeds and everything will have suggestions according to your hardiness zone. So we're both zone 6B, but because of my latitude being close to the Canadian border, my length of daylight and darkness is vastly different than someone lower down like Cat Lady in Virginia. And so we're seeing like when you saw like July, when was your first plant that went into flower? It was like July something. It was strawberry banana grape, I
Yeah.
think.
And it was different than y'all. I think y'all had, most people had, and I can confirm this in the data, that their purple Oreos were the first to flower.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was my strawberry banana grape, which are leaning sativa-ish. And it could have just
Mm-hmm.
been those two seeds. But it was July 14th.
Yeah, very early. And I was almost August 14th. I was like August 8th, I think, when I went into flower, August 8th, and that was one of them. And it took until like the third week of August for all of my plants to go into flower. So that was just insane. Like, I definitely would, besides having my blaze plants outside for the purpose of science, um, I would just rather get a little hoop house and do some light deprivation because it's just like, I mean, I guess it's all going to, what all pretty much went to fresh frozen besides what couldn't be harvested and processed in time. But it's just like sucks to have to cut it down early, you know what I mean? And not have like these big, beautiful, chunky nugs because
Mm-hmm.
it's just, they only got, 6 weeks to flower. And that last, 2 weeks, you can really see some weight gain. Um, but, whatever, tomato, tomato. I don't know why I said that, but um I'm actually just finally got my freezer. So I got a Harvest Right freeze dryer from my buddy. So I went and picked that up, dropping it off at AJ's house. That thing is fucking so heavy, dude. I was like breaking my back carrying it in with him. Um, and he picked up both of my chest freezers full of flour. And so, you know how one of my freezers got unplugged? Um, so we were like, well, shit, like, let me just open up a bag and see what it smells like, like, and what does it look like? And it had defrosted and then refroze. So it was like not like all flat, it was kind of one chunk. Um, but it smelled really good. So I was like, all right, man, just go for it. It's pretty tasty smelling. And that was the chocolate skunk from purple caper that I opened up, and I'm actually trimming some of the dry flower from the purple caper. So I know it's already freaking March, this year's some whatever winter has gotten away from me. It's been like very stressful, and I'm barely dealing with all of last year's harvest. So I'm hoping by the end of March I'll have um, everything washed and everything trimmed, and my trailer will be empty and ready for the next season.
Samesies. I just started washing myself last week. I did one before we got this weird heat wave that, I'm not going to complain about too much, but I do need to get washing. But we get a cold spell next week. So,
So you're gonna do um, the
washing of what
washing
I have in
during,
my
yeah.
chest freezer.
Somebody just text me. You're listed the two Blaze projects. Do they have to be specific from Seedsman, or can I go to Barney's or whatever? That's a good question. I think that they'd have to be from Seedsman because we want to know they're Seedsman genetics, so it's the same breeder, and so
Mm-hmm.
it would be more closely like related for the data purposes to um grow from more similar genetics, because I don't know if other breeders where they're what clone they're using to create
Exactly.
the seeds.
Like
Um,
with Sour Diesel, that's Seedsman, their version.
yeah, exactly. Are the seeds feminized? Mr. Tate asks. I don't know if this year's varieties are feminized. I think most of Seedsman does feminize seeds now. It seems like most breeders are doing that. So I'm gonna have to. Can we pull up the strains from Seedsman's website and check them out again
Yes.
and see? I want to know what the lineage is. I saw so the Guava Root GMO is like galactic guava crossed with maybe root beer GMO, or maybe root beer and then crossed with GMO. I'm not really sure. Woo, yeah, XB Hendrix, gardeners grow on. Rock on, man. Um, let's see here. Pull it up.
Okay, that's why. If I go with my whole window, then y'all can see when I click between them. There we
All
go.
right. So, sour diesel from Seedsman. Yes, you got to buy them from Seedsman. And they'll give you an option. So that's the thing is Seedsman sponsored this. So when you buy those seeds from them, it'll say sign up for Blaze, and then it'll send out an email to you if you sign up for Blaze when you buy this. So it just like streamlines the whole project. Um, there you go. 3 seeds, $39.95. Code Blaze, get $4 off. And I don't know if you can stack discounts. Probably not. They should do a bundle. That's what I should ask, is if they buy both seeds. I'm gonna ask Seedsman that this week. If you buy both strains, can you get a bigger discount? Like a Blaze bundle.
Yeah.
Ask if both are
Why do
get
I have...
discount.
Oh, you get free things. I was like, why do I have so much in my basket? They want to give you free
Okay.
stuff.
You get a free.
Why discount? I don't think you have to. Oh, I didn't even type. BLAZ.
Make sure it works.
Huzzah!
Woohoo! All right, cool. Let's see. What are the lineage of that root beer guava galactic? Oh, there it is. Galactic guava times GMO root beer GMO. I always thought it was root beer GMO. I don't know if GMO root beer is different than that, or I don't know. Yields 4.7% using fresh frozen method. A superb hash product. Yeah, and then I hope we get 4.7% returns. That would be sick. Yay. Well, um if you guys haven't, there is a new article that just went up on. I posted it on my Patreon, but again, I'm phasing out of Patreon, guys. Thank you for the love and support on there over the years. But again, we're focusing on Blaze and also real estate. If y'all are buying or selling anywhere in the country, holla at your girl. I have been loving getting into real estate and helping people across the country. I've been helping growers, farmers, gardeners. Check that out. And that's rootedacresrealestate.com. A cat lady is also helping me with my website over there. She's just amazing. Um, but the new article on Seedsman is how to water cannabis using rainwater catchment. And this was actually inspired by one of my listings I got last month. And we went under contract in 2 weeks. And it's an off grid homestead that uses rainwater catchment system for all of their gardens, their animal pens. And so I wrote an article on it because I think that in the coming years that we are going to, and this is a picture from Blaze. One of our Blaze participants from last year had the rainwater barrels up. And so I used that as a photo. So shout out, I can't remember. I think that was Southwest Ohio. You made it into a Seedsman article. Thank you for providing photos. And I really enjoyed writing this article because I got a little into the woo about, just how we are a fractal, how our plants, us, and the universe mimics each other and fractals out. So, like, there's 70% water in our planet to 70% water in our plants to 70% water in us. And so, like, paying attention and making sure the kinds of water that we're using, not only like we pay so much attention to what we feed our and water our plants with, but we should also be taking that into consideration when we are watering ourselves. And so, yeah, there's a lot of good information to read. And that's another Blaze photo. I think that was Homestead Acre, purple Oreos. Um, but yeah, you can check that out at seedsman.com. When you're buying your seeds, you can go ahead and read the article. And if you guys have anything that you want me to write about, because I just love writing about growing weed. Oh, and that is actually the house that I just sold. We go close on the 19th in 10 days, and that is the one of the rainwater that 2,000-gallon cistern is what they use. And then if you like look in the background, there's two smaller 250-gallon water totes with that roof. And so they have the roof line up with the gutters and going into the rain totes. And so they have them all over the property with irrigation connected to it. It's very cool. They're awesome people. And I just love seeing more folks getting into sustainability and self-sufficiency. We are kind of tricked into this mindset of scarcity, that we need more and we don't have enough. But the earth actually provides us with like everything that we need. There's so much abundance around us, and figuring out how to integrate our lives into the systems that Mother Earth is providing, like rainwater, is just amazing. Change that mindset from fear and scarcity to abundance and love. This is one of my favorite plants I've ever grown. This was a blueberry muffin crossed with lavender haze, and I just love how dark purple it turned out. And then I think I even talk about dry farming in here. So there's all these different ways that you can connect and capture the rainwater, but then dry farming is also like taking it even a step further. And I know a lot of folks in Montana are dry farming, and this is essentially using earth just to water it and not watering at all yourself. So I am, for those of you who don't know, who aren't members of my Patreon, I am moving again, unfortunately. And so my, let's change that from a scarcity mindset to abundance. And fortunately, let's say fortunately, I am moving. Yes. And I am looking at this cabin on 100 acres with a year-round creek. And I was talking to the current owner about gardening spaces, and the current gardening space has to be watered, but there's another location down by the creek that would be sub-irrigated by the water table itself and the water that is there. And so dry farming takes into consideration the permaculture aspect of water movement through the hydrologic system of your ecosystem itself, right? And so, how does water cycle through your ecosystem? And you can notice this by the way that there's boulders, the way that runoff moves through, if there's depressions, different plants, even. Like, I had a hydrologist come out to one of my properties, one of my farms, and kind of do an analysis of the water table and the water movement through it. And she was like looking and she said, okay, so you see how there's this cluster of blackberries growing around that rock? That means that there is water naturally pooling right there and getting stopped up because blackberries are high water. So if we just take the moment to step back and to observe our ecosystem and connect the dots, right? We can do the same thing and say, okay, well, I see that there's species here that are, need a lot of water and they're growing naturally. So maybe I could plant things. I could plant some cannabis there. And so that's kind of like the mindset instead of like this manipulation of nature, like this stop, softness, observe. And dry farming does just that. So hugelkultur is one method to store more water yourself. And because you're using so much dead wood and piling detritus and organic matter, it kind of acts as a sponge and slowly releases the water back into your soil. And then swales and contours are ways of shaping the land itself so that the water slows down. So, for instance, if you're on a hillside, you can put contours and swales to stop the water from just going down the hill. And it would be kind of like terracing it a little bit. Then that's where you see in the mountains lots of terraced gardens, and that helps slow down the water and keep it in your soil. And then last, I talk about mulching, right? We pretty much all mulch, and mulching not only does it act like a sponge, but it also changes the color of your soil. And by changing that color from black or dark to light, we're reflecting light instead of absorbing it. And so, law of thermodynamics, right? We're going to reflect light. It means we're going to have less heat, which means we're going to have less water loss due to evaporation. So, so many ways that we can reduce our water and just, grab onto it naturally. Even if you're not doing rainwater catchment, we can reduce it using some of these methods in dry farming. And if you have to, then going out and watering. But just, for my guerrilla growers out there, this is good information to keep in mind. And yeah, cover crops again also are going to help. Some of them, will use water, but it's again, like, obviously they're plants, so they're going to use some water. So you kind of maybe think, oh, this is counterintuitive, but again, it's changing the soil surface. And if they don't have like deep, massive root systems, the water use is going to be pretty negligible. And the more matter you have, you'll actually like green living mulch. You can actually see that your water is like reduced, and you'll want to remember, like, in the morning you have the dew and you have the transpiration cycle of plants. And so photosynthesis, one of the byproducts of photosynthesis is actually water. And so it takes the water, but then it's also transpiring water. And so the more plants we have, the more that it is recycling, allowing it to be stored there and kept right in the soil instead of like running off completely or evaporating or moving out. So learning just like a little bit more about the water cycle in your unique ecosystem is definitely going to help you reduce your water usage in your garden. And we can always reduce our water use. We're one of the most water wasteful countries. I think we are the most water wasteful country in the world. And I did want to talk about this in this article, but it would have made it too long, is the use of gray water. And so, gray water is used in a lot of other countries. Like, why are we flushing our toilet with clean drinking water, right? That's kind of crazy. You can set up your plumbing in your water systems in your house to recycle your water. So, like, let's say you would hook up your toilet to gray water, like the water that's used in your washing machine or your shower, then would go into your toilet instead of clean drinking water. Um, and then that goes out into your septic. Or if you wanted to take your gray water system and you would have your washing machine and your shower hooked up to different pipes that then go to irrigate your landscaping, your grass, even. Like, why are we watering grass yards with clean drinking water? And then people are like, oh, I use chemicals. Well, don't freaking use chemicals in your cleaner. Don't use bleach. Don't use whatever the hell. Like, you can use some vinegar, and that's gonna probably kill some plants, but like, I am so against these harsh chemical cleaners. I live on septic, so I'm very conscious of it. And for folks who live on septic and still use antimicrobial products, cleaning products, bleach, and you have to get your septic tank pumped, that is why you're killing off the bacteria that are decomposing your shit for you, and then you have to get your tanks pumped. But if you don't put things, if you use septic safe toilet paper and you use septic safe cleaners like vinegar, um, and you're not using bleach in your laundry, hydrogen peroxide instead, you can keep your bacteria happy. And it's the same thing, like, right, when you take antibiotics and you're clearing out your system, things start shutting down, and then you get secondary infections, and all kinds of shit happens. So remember to take the lessons from our garden and apply them to the rest of your life, because that is the true, like, learning experience that I am here to teach. It's not just about
Yes.
growing better weed, it's about growing better you, because when we become better, our communities become better, and then the planet becomes better. And there's nothing like more important right now, when we see all of this division and war and bombing, than instead of inciting division, like coming together to love one another and to choose to be better, showing up each day, watering our gardens in our yard and in our minds. um, do we have anything else to add
Well, that was
about
making me actually think about just something as I've been working on my own health lately for various reasons, as you know. The fact that I understand lockout is important for humans too, and for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. Something that I've been finding fascinating in a morbid way, is that the people who are all like liquid IV and all these like electrolyte drinks, but they don't actually need it, are causing themselves lockouts
Oh,
because
wow.
they have too much of the electrolytes that they need, but they don't need that much of.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And lockout, I think, is very important to observe in our bodies. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's something that I've been struggling with my own health. Is you were talking about hypertension. I have low blood pressure. Um, I have low iron, but I eat a lot of iron and I take iron supplements. And so I have looked into, and I think you helped me. We were looking maybe online about different things, or maybe it was my other girlfriend, about different nutrients that help you uptake things so that it's not
Yeah.
being locked out, that it's more accessible. And so, like, for instance, iron, I'm taking like magnesium glycinate and citric acid with it, so any that's going to help your body absorb it. So learning all of this science about our plants nutrition.
Yep. Exactly. Like one of the things I found really interesting recently with the hypertension thing is people keep shoving salt, 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 lower your salt. But you also need to lower your sugar, because if you have too much sugar, then you can absorb more salt. And that's what, like, it's homeostasis that you're looking for, just like with your plants. And I think it's something that Alex has taught for quite some time now, is like you're working on that homeostasis for your plant that that they crave, and we crave. And even if we don't think we crave it, our bodies crave it.
I don't know what's happening to me. Can you hear
The
me?
fact that I can hear you now, I can't see you.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm lost. My whole shit just turned off. Everything. my camera, my computer, nothing is charging. It's just all turned off. So, um, well,
Wow.
I think that's the end of our show.
I think that's technology telling us what to do with the world.
Oh
So yeah.
yeah. Chris Barlow says drink some Guinness, so I'm gonna peace out and go get a Guinness stout, um, and that'll help me absorb my absorbable iron.
Indeed, indeed. All right, everybody. We appreciate you. We'll work to be here again next week. Get your seeds, queenofthesungrown.com/blaze. And you'll get emails from us. Lots of pestering in the next couple of weeks. And you still have at least a couple hours, Blaze 2025ers, to finish your stuff for free seeds. Please and thank you.
Woohoo! Good night, everybody.